say go New York, go New York, go! What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you as I love to do every weekday from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over the airwaves of SiriusXM. Mad Dog Sports Radio. Number to call up, as always, is 888 Mad Dog 6. That's 888 Mad Dog 6. That's 888-623-3646. That's 888-623-3646. I love everybody. I just wanted to say that. I love everybody because my New York Knicks going to the finals. It's orange and blue skies, baby. My New York Knicks going to the NBA finals. You understand? And last night, they put the Philadelphia 76ers on notice, the city of brotherly love on notice, that that's exactly what they intend to do. Courtesy of Jalen Brunson just busting everybody's living ass in the first half, dropping 27 points, shooting about 71% from the field. The New York Knicks, a collective level of excellence, shooting 63% from the field for the game, annihilated the Philadelphia 76ers 137-98 at Madison Square Garden last night. Jalen Brunson led the way with about 35, but it really doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is the New York Knicks have been on a roll. The New York Knicks have been on a roll. They've won their last 4 games by a combined 135 points. They've averaged about 129 points in these games. Offense looks like a juggernaut, for crying out loud. They annihilated the Atlanta Hawks. They beat down the Philadelphia 76ers. They've been winning by an average of 33 points. This is what they've been doing, okay? And here's the reason. It's a few reasons. Number one, they've taken Jalen Brunson off the ball to some degree, put the ball in Karl Anthony Towns' hands, has turned him into a point center, per se. That has helped. Jalen Brunson is moving in without the basketball and somehow, someway has been convinced that he's going to get his shots, if not more of them, moving off the ball instead of having the ball in his hands at all the time. It's also contributed to the fluidity of the offense, where even Mikal Bridges was getting off last night. I saw him hit a couple of threes. With OG Anunoby still playing elite basketball, with Karl Anthony Towns being able to pull cats away from the basket because you got to guard this man and him hitting points all over the place. You see Mikal Bridges right there. 17 points, 7 to 10 shooting, 3 or 5 for three-point range. That's all I needed, Mikal Bridges. That's what I'm talking about right there. That level of efficiency, that level of marksmanship. You know what? So what if 17 points? It don't have to be 27. It could be 17, but if you're shooting like that and taking advantage of these opportunities and playing elite defense, that's what we wanted to see. And that's what we got from Mikal Bridges. And Karl Anthony Towns did his thing too. Now, please don't get me wrong. Under no circumstances am I looking at it and I'm saying that last night was an indication of what's to come. The Philadelphia 76ers are much better than this, ladies and gentlemen. They're much better than this. Don't get caught up. Don't think for 1 second that the Philadelphia 76ers are going to lose another game by 39 points. Don't think for 1 second that Joel Embiid is going to have like 11 points or something like that. Don't think like that. Don't you dare. They were only 2 days removed from completing a 3-1 series comeback with that grueling Game 7 against the Celtics. All right? You got to remember that Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey combined for just 27 points on 6 for 20 shooting. You think that's going to happen again? Joel Embiid had just 14 points, had just 11 shots. Okay? You really, really think that's going to happen to Joel Embiid again? Don't bet the house on it. It's not going to happen. You really believe that Tyrese Maxey is going to have just 13 points? You really believe that him with Embiid is going to combine to shoot 30% from the field? Tyrese Maxey didn't make his first basket until 5 minutes remained in the second quarter. You really think that's going to happen again? And he only attempted 9 shots. You really think it's not going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. Philadelphia 76ers, without question, will be much better. Grueling 7-game series. And then to have to go 48 hours later and play at Madison Square Garden against the New York Knicks, they were ripe to be had. And Joel Embiid was very, very honest when he said, yo, we're tired. No doubt about that. So they just need a couple of days of rest or whatever. 76ers are not going to look like this again. But that doesn't mean it's not going to be good enough, that it's going to be good enough to beat the Knicks. Because you see, even though as individuals, you could argue that the Philadelphia 76ers have more talent, than the New York Knicks, collectively speaking, we're not sure that's true. The New York Knicks are playing like a unit. They're playing together. Give Coach Mike Brown major, major props and what he's been able to do to turn them around after they've been down 2-1 to Atlanta Hawks. I mean, think about the minutes that he stripped away from Mikal Bridges. Think about how he gave them to the likes of the Jordan Clarksons and the Deuce McBrides of the world. Think about Mitchell Robinson and the contribution that he's made. Think about taking Karl Anthony Towns and putting the ball in his hands and saying, let the offense run through him. Think about convincing Jalen Brunson that that's the right thing to do. Mike Brown did all of these things. And as a result, the New York Knicks are up 1-0 in the Eastern Conference semifinal series against the Philadelphia 76ers. Game 2 is going to tell us a lot. Because the Sixers are going to come out, and there's no way in hell that they're going to sit idly by and allow what happened in Game 1 to repeat itself in Game 2. And what that means is that if they're not going to allow that, the New York Knicks are going to have to be ready for that challenge. They're going to have to be ready for the Philadelphia 76ers to be determined to make amends for that atrocious performance in Game 1, which the Philadelphia 76ers are going to be hell-bent on doing. And if the New York Knicks find themselves winning under those conditions, then you know something? You got something special on your hands. And that's what we're looking at last night. My man Jay Williams on ESPN this morning put it best when he sat up there and he said, the New York Knicks look like they can win a championship. And he also said, I don't think I've ever said that about the New York Knicks before. Because even me, I had the New York Knicks going to the finals. And then a couple of weeks ago, I had to threaten their asses and be like, you better not get knocked out in the first round. No doubt about it, because they were horrible. It was just 1-point losses to Atlanta, but it shouldn't have been that close, shouldn't have been that tough. As the New York Knicks spent the last 3 games showing us against the Atlanta Hawks, including beating them by 50, being up by 47 before a first half ended, being up as high as 60 in that closeout game. This is what the New York Knicks have done. This is what they've done. Now we have to get to the point where we're evaluating this series against the Philadelphia 76ers properly. New York Knicks. Tyrese Maxey in the regular season versus the New York Knicks. All 4 games he played against them where they split it 2-2. He averaged 30 on 51% shooting and 50% from three-point range. Do you really think that Tyrese Maxey ain't going to come out aggressive as hell in Game 2 to make amends for this performance that he put forth in Game 1 last night? Of course he is. Even Coach Mike Brown said his team got 14 of the 16 50-50 balls in the game. So it's all of that stuff working against the New York Knicks. And still, they went out and romped, absolutely romped the Philadelphia 76ers. And if you're the New York Knicks, understand what you also did was put Jalen Brunson in pick and roll situations where he just abused the Sixers as he has done all season long. But also understand that Joel Embiid, with his questionable legs and his questionable lower extremities, period, from his hips on down, is a bit hobbled. That same dude, Joel Embiid, ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing he can do defensively. Offensively, he's spectacular. On one leg, he'll wreak havoc. On one leg. But in the end, here's what it comes down to. On the other side of the ball, the reality is that when you look at him, when you look at a Joel Embiid, as much and as dominant as he is offensively, defensively, there's nothing he can do. He can't guard pick and roll situations. He's not mobile. He doesn't want to go out to the three-point line and defend against Karl Anthony Towns. He doesn't want that fight. He doesn't want that kind of smoke. Which means that in the end, the New York Knicks have the advantage. Now what you got to do is not lose sight of the advantage that you have. Hold on to it and put a chokehold on this series for the Philadelphia 76ers. That's what you need to do if you're the New York Knicks. Can you do it? Will you do it? I believe they will. And I believe the New York Knicks will advance to the conference finals, where the road to the finals, in all likelihood, will have to go through Detroit, who came back from their own 3-1 deficit and not only won the series against Orlando, but got their coach fired, and Jamal Mosley. 888 Mad Dog 6 is always the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, Sirius XM, Mad Dog Sports Radio. So much to get into today. As I look at the New York Knicks right now, during this 4-game streak, won all 4 games, outscoring the opponents 129-95, outshooting them from the field 57-41%, from 3-point range 44-29%, and rebounds per game, they're getting 12 more at 44 in terms of 32, and winning by an average of 34 points per game during this 4-game winning streak. This is what the New York Knicks are doing, y'all. But they're not the only team that's doing their thing. Let's take a moment to give props where props is due.